Hello everybody and a very warm welcome to Virtual Sim League Season 11, round number 3 of the Tier 1 division. And we head to our first sprint round of the championship. It is the home of the Yas Marina circuit. It is the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. One of many controversies, but one of huge excitement as well. My name is Jesper. We got to get going very quickly because we're about to get started with one-shot qualifying. But joining alongside me today once again, it is Mike. Mike, how you doing?
I am doing fantastic, and obviously a fantastic race and a fantastic sprint quality to get into as well. Going to throw up a lot of surprises, I think.
Yes, and for those of you that don't know the sprint race format, one-shot qualifying awaits our drivers, and then that will decide the grid for the sprint, and then we will have a sprint race, which is 50% sprint race, and 8 points will be awarded to the winner. It's like the normal sprint race points you get in real life, but it's not because there's no sprint shootout because that wasn't implemented in the game yet. So that's how it's going to work, and then once that's done, the sprint will then decide the results. Well, the starting grid for the main 50% race, which gets all the virtual sim league points and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it should be an interesting track. The Yas Marina circuit building began in May 2007. Many iterations since then. It first hosted the race back in 2009, which I really enjoyed. And then the removal of the chicane heading through turn 4 and 5 was updated around about 21, 22. And that is something that I love to this day, and I'm glad they introduced it on the game last year. So we're about to get underway with one-shot qualifying. They have a minute to get ready. What do you like about this track?
I like the fact that they have removed the old chicane that was down on the run down into turn 9 as it is now. The swooping left-hander. Now, the removal of that chicane promotes a lot of good side-by-side action, promotes a lot of good racing, and we're going to be seeing a lot of that going through tonight.
Yes, our current championship leader was Andreas. After picking up a win last week, he did get the win on track, but he got a 3-second penalty in the pit lane, which was very, very weird. So the stewards looked at that. They don't usually remove 3-second penalties, but because that penalty was unfair, he got it removed, so that's why he got the race win, and Tony finished second. So Andreas on 47 points, Casper on 30, Glock on 29, Tony on 20, then we got Cam on 18, Yarham in 6th on 17, and we got Matta in 7th on 15, joint with Vesia. Then we got Enzo, Gareth, and David and Ewan joint in 8th on 12 points. Then we got Kieran, Twisted, Womet, Tech, Leroy, and then we got quite a few people yet to score as well, so hopefully they will score tonight as well, with plenty of opportunities to score in the sprint as well. I think we could see quite a few invalidations tonight, I think, especially towards, I think, sometimes the third sector where we can catch people out as well, and yeah, I think we can see not many people complete laps. They only have one chance to get it right. It's not like the usual qualifying where they get multiple chances. It's one chance, so I think we could see a few mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely, and obviously one chance, all the pressure is going to be on that one lap, because you don't really want to be starting towards the back in terms of sprint qualifying, because that really does hinder you in terms of trying to get your way through to be towards the front in terms of the feature race. But we are counting down now, so it looks like everyone has got their strategies, well, their tyre selections, setups and everything all sorted. I don't know why I said strategies, but you know, my head's a little bit over the place. But yeah, they're going to be jumping in momentarily, and interested to see who's going to come out on top here.
Yes, we are about to get started then, so let's change the scene, because we're going to ride on board with Cam, because that's the first person I went on board with. So this track is unusual because the start-finish straight isn't the longest on the circuit, but it's not a DRS zone as well. First corner, you arrive here at around about 200 miles an hour as well. 90-degree left-hander as well. Ignore this bit where you brake. You don't brake anymore, as Mike and myself were saying. You're heading towards this very long triple-hander, which I really do like. And you'll be heading through third gear here. Up this straight here, DRS will be activated for the drivers. You use quite a lot of DRS here for overtaking as you head into second gear in turn 6, and then briefly in towards turn number 7. through the Yas Marina Bridge. Absolutely love that part of the circuit. Another DRS opportunity. We could see potentially some DRS chicking. This won't give you too much trouble here. Another chicane that got removed as well. But it can provide quite a bit of understeer if you get the setup wrong. Certain tracks on this, certain corners on this circuit do require a bit of downforce. Through the hotel section, which I think a lot of people would want to watch the Formula 1 there. Of course, we're past the corner where we saw Nicholas Latifi bin it back in 2021, but we don't want to talk about that. Cam goes out to the line, and it looks like it's going to be pole position. Yes, it is, with a 121.985, only man in the 121s, and really good lap, and he'll be starting where he means to go on top.
Yeah, and also very fortunate that we was able to jump on board with him for the entirety of that thing, because he ended up putting it on pole position.
So here we go. Let's look at your order for the sprint race then. 121.985. Then we got Glocks 122.096 in second. Then we got Matta in third, Johan fourth, Andreas fifth, Kieran in sixth, Finley, who's reserving tonight, in seventh. Then we got Ewan in eighth, Leroy ninth. Then we got Gareth in 10th. Then we got Speed 90, the last driver to set about his lap. Then we got some disqualifications. Tony, Casper and Enzo. Only 14 drivers tonight, but that doesn't mean we're not going to have some action, because we are going to be having some action. We did have 7 or 6 incidents from last week. Quite a few penalty removals, which was good. Glock had some 5-second time penalties added to his time for careless driving. And there was a few other drivers that got penalised as well. And there was a few racing incidents too. But we're about to get into the racing. For those of you that aren't aware of the sprint race format in Formula 1, they're not required to pit if they don't want to, unless they get damage or safety cars. And mainly, the best tyre strategy around here at least will be to go on the mediums for the entire race. I think you can only go on mediums or hards anyway. You have to choose wisely, because the tyres you use for the sprint, it may limit to what you can use for the race. So don't use the hards for the sprint, because you won't have much to use in the race, and it may force you into a 2-stop strategy in the main race, and you don't want that, do you?
Yeah, absolutely not. We should be seeing everyone out there on a set of the mediums. I can't imagine anyone risking softs, or even risking using their hard compound tyres in the sprint race. So we should be seeing the entire grid on mediums, which obviously equalises everything across the board. No variation in tyre strategy, but you never know. Someone might be feeling a little bit risky.
Yeah, I like risky strategies. That's the best thing about VSL F1, that they plan these strategies like this. And, well, there could be people that could potentially stop under a safety car, go on to a set of the soft compounder tyres, and it could be made work. I have seen it done before in many Abu Dhabi sprint races. There was one race that I witnessed around Abu Dhabi, I think it was a sprint race, where usually you would expect no rain here, but it did rain. It did rain. I think 1% chance it did rain, and it did. And it was quite chaotic, but not as chaotic as we thought. But luckily we're not getting any rain at the moment because of what has happened, of course. But yeah, tyres here, around about 4/10 of a second difference between the softs and the mediums, and then about 5/10 between the mediums and the hards. So that is going to be interesting, to say the least. I do see a lot of mediums in the garages as well, which strongly suggests that we could see some medium tyres, I think, for the race as well. I think for most games, we've seen 2 stops work in real life as well for the real race, as we are about to get started with the formation lap. And we will see, hopefully, people go onto tyres that we think is going to be... Oh! We got a mixed bag. I love this. I really do love this. So they must have listened to us, mate. So we got our pole sitter Cam. Well, can you call him pole sitter? He's technically not, because he's just pole for the sprint. But he's pole for the sprint. I'm going to call him that. But he's on the softs. So is Kieran, Finley, Gareth and Casper. Everyone else is on mediums. I like these brave strategies. Softs last a bit longer around here, but I don't know how much. So... this gives us a little bit of a learning curve in a way to find out how these softs can fare a 10-lap race in the sprint.
Well, this is going to be very intriguing, because I mean, you can take softs 10 laps, but they are going to be absolutely gone by the end of the sprint race. So, I mean, these guys on the softs, they are risking it here because the mediums will definitely be the better tire from around, I would say, lap 6, 7 onwards.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be an intriguing one, and obviously Cam starting at the front on the set of softs. If he can get away and bolt away, he should be good.
I think so, potentially as well. I mean, he needs the points. He does need the points, I think, for the sprint race. Even though he got a podium in round number 1 in Japan, he did DNF last week, and he was absolutely gutted about that. So surely he would want some consolation prize for not doing very well last time out. And I'm sure other people would want redemptions as well. I'm just trying to see who else DNF last week. Kieran DNF last week, Tep 31. Is Tep 31 here tonight? No, he's not. Leroy would want some redemption. Pete as well. And there's some people that obviously haven't raced at all this season that would want to get their season off to a great start, even though they're reserved. So, and what a beautiful setting we're seeing in Abu Dhabi at the moment as we're waiting for all the cars to make their way on to the grid. Hopefully no disqualifications, please, because otherwise it can cause a bit of chaos, but...
Yeah, there we go.
Oh, God. Let's hope it's not like that for the race, because otherwise we'll have to have a restart. But anyway, we're all good. Okay, 5 lights are on then. Cam on pole. Glock alongside. And we are underway for VSL F1. Much better start from Glock, but Cam gets a good getaway in towards turn number 1. Nice start from Matt as well. Oh, I spoke too soon. There was a bit of contact from a lot of drivers. Spin galore. One car spins, then another car spins, then another car spins, and they all drop like flies here. But it only seems to affect 4 drivers. Cam is leading on the soft to be expected. Glock's got a good start as well. Gav's around as well. He got caught out in turn 5. Oh, that was almost an unsafe rejoin there, but he's forced onto the back of the grid. My, oh my, that was chaos.
Yeah, I was on board with Johan going into turn 1. He just sent it as everyone coming on board with Casper. I guess a little bit of a tap there. Looks like Tony's just going to be able to go through Casper up in the P6. But yeah, a little bit of impatience there from Johan trying to make moves early. And the same thing happened with Gareth at the hairpin.
Yeah, a lot of people can get caught out by that, not gonna lie, but they still got quite a bit of this race still to go. Hopefully they don't have any damage from that so far, but Cam is pulling a 6/10 gap from Glock, but Glock's tyres could come to his own later on in the race. Same with the likes of Casper, who has got past Enzo, he stayed ahead of Enzo in this lap, and he's trying to close in on Tony, who got 2nd place last week after starting from the back of the grid. Tony's had an almighty start, because I believe he didn't set a lap. So position changes then. We got quite a lot. Ewan has gone into the pits. Not really surprised there. Enzo, Casper and Tony, they gained the most, as well as Leroy. And Finley and Andreas gained a bit as well. Glock and Cam stayed exactly where they are, whereas we got a lot of position loss in the background. So Ewan onto a set of softs. Annoying that he has to use some of his tyres up, but at least he's back in this race. Maybe a safety car could come back into this as well. But look at this. Glock already catching up to Cam. It's not going to be that long before DRS is enabled on the next lap. So maybe that is when he could use some slipstream and a bit of extra energy to get past. But for now, he's got to be patient.
Yeah, and of course, looking at the ERS uses between them, Cam has used quite a lot of his ERS to try and get away from Glock. Glock sitting at around 30% better in terms of his ERS. So, I mean, he's gone wide on the exit there, so he's definitely lost a lot of time, and that could be what Cam needs.
Yes, Cam needs to do well in this one, which he is, as we got a yellow flag somewhere, and we got a VSC. So, what was that? It might be Ewan, but he's pitted.
Finley.
It was Finley that had an off, and he keeps spinning. Oh, no, Finley's lost his front wing, and he almost had a moment with Gap, but luckily he was ghosted, which was great. So that's caused a VSC. Perfect chance for maybe the people near the back to pit if there was a full safety car, but there is no full safety car, so they're having to stick it out. Maybe if it was a full race, that could have happened as well. Finley's obviously taking advantage. Oh, Ewan! Ewan has got a drive-through penalty for speeding on the VSC. That is not good, and he'll have to serve it straight away. So his race has gone from bad to worse, so he's going to come in and serve it ASAP, it looks like. But yeah, that is a bit of a shame there. But right now, Tony is catching on Leroy. Leroy, by the way, has had an almighty start. I think there's about 3 or 4 cars that had a really good start as they head past the double right as we are head towards the next DRS straight. DRS chicken. But I think Tony just staying behind for one reason alone, because he knows he's quick. Breezes past Leroy quite comfortably, heading towards turn number 9, and he's up into 4th place.
Yeah, brilliant move there from Tony, getting it done with the aid of DRS. And obviously you got Casper in right behind, and Tony and Casper have had fantastic starts. Obviously, Tony didn't set a lap time from what I saw in one shot, and Casper got disqualified from one shot quality by invalidating.
Yeah, I did say invalidation could be an issue, but for some drivers it doesn't mean anything, because you can overtake around it, and these guys have proven that at this stage as well. And we're already on lap 4 of 10, so this sprint race has gone very quickly so far, and that means the tyre progression and the tyre temperatures could be a massive factor as well about how they heat their tyres during the formation lap. So that's probably why a couple of people got caught out. So past turn 5 they go. Casper is going to go for his first attempt to get past Leroy, but I think what I've seen most people do is get past around about the turn 8 mark in towards turn number 9 was where we saw the move. I don't think people would want to get the move into turn 6 and 7, because then otherwise they will lose the DRS. They would be probably clever to try and do it, but we do have a battle for P1 maybe. No, Glock stays behind for now. We are starting to see between the softs and the mediums.
Cam makes a small mistake, and Glock putting him under pressure now, coming into the hotel section.
We are starting to see the drop-off very quickly between the softs and the mediums, actually, because Glock is catching, and I think we're seeing the same with some other drivers as well. Casper, though, is bucking that trend, and he's around about 2 tenths behind Leroy still, but watch out for those gaps. If it goes even bigger, then we know that those softs are going to die just a little bit, but, you know, we'll have to wait and see. But for Cam, he's struggling a bit more than Glock.
Yeah. Cam's tyres are beginning to slightly fall away. I mean, a little bit earlier than what I predicted in terms of the crossover point from the softs to the mediums, but I mean, from the looks of it, DRS is playing a huge part in this for Glock to be as close to Cam as possible. And Andreas has actually done well over the past couple of laps, because he's closing up to these guys. So Andreas can get himself in the mix for the sprint quality win.
I wonder if Andreas is just going to keep it calm like he's done the last few races and pick up the wins where needed, because he has been really consistent. He's got a second place in round 1. He got the win in round 2. He's looking like he's going to get another one. Now, maximum point is quite substantial if you think about it. So you get 8 points for the win. You get 25 points for the win in the main race. And I was trying to remember if you get fastest lap points for the sprint. No, you don't. And then you get the 2 extra points fastest lap in the main race. So maximum point altogether is 35 points. So if one of these guys could get 35 points maximum, that could be huge for their championship chances, because obviously 47 points is what Andreas has got. Casper on 30, Glock on 29. That could overhaul quite a few people's positions in this championship if they want to obviously win the thing, or if they want to potentially climb their way up as well. On lap 6 of 10, 4 more laps to go until the end of the sprint race, and that which decides the grid for the main 50% races. Oh, Casper and Glock, they make a bit of contact in the background, you see. Andreas, I think, wants to try and capitalise on it looks like. So let's go on board with Andreas then. Right in the middle of this, he does not choose to use overtake just yet. And look at his battery. He's hardly using any right now, because he's trying to save it. But that could have almost ended in disaster between the pair of them. But Glock leads from Cam, and Enzo overtakes Mata Nice battle there in a 2P7. Cam overtakes Glock once again in towards turn 9, and he gains the lead. But it's not going to be that long before we switch and change the lead right now. But here comes Mata again.
Mata down the inside gets the job done on Enzo. Enzo's got a better run out the corner though. He's going to stick it down the inside. This will be a fantastic overtake if he can pull it off. Enzo, little bit of contact, but it was good effort. And Knighton in the background there, almost losing the car behind these two. So it's getting a little bit elbows out here in between Enzo and Mata.
Yeah, and I think Speed Knighton, Mata's teammate, is, I think, doing all he can to potentially try and help this as well. Now, I have to say, Pete doing a lot better job than the last few races as well, so that's very great to see, but not going to say too much because I'm worried I could commentate as curse him. So, not going to say anything more because otherwise I might get fired. Anyway, battle for the lead is intensifying once again between Cam, Glock and Andreas. Cam's running out of hers, but Glock and Andreas has more ERS to use, so this could play advantage. Oh, Kieran's out the race as he retires in the pit lane, so no safety car. But there's still going to be yellow flags everywhere. Can Glock get past Cam with the benefit of more of the ERS? Nope, he can't, but he used a lot of that ERS to help him a little bit. But Andreas, oh, look at that. Glock trying to have a send of dreams there. Oh, that was a bit interesting for Glock, I have to say. But Glock takes the lead from Cam once again.
Yep, Glock back through into the race leader in the background as well. Mata gets back through on Enzo, and he's up into P7. You got Knighton on the back of him as well. Casper looks to be, looks like he has a car more tailored to straight line speed, because he was closing up on Leroy incredibly quickly down the straight.
Yeah, I think he's running a low downforce setup. I think that's what explains to me why he's catching up on the speed, but not much on the corners. But I think looking at Abu Dhabi, you got to have, I think, you got to have one set for everything. So probably a medium downforce track is what I would say as well. You got to have the speed on the straights, but you also got to have the speed on the corners. You got to find the right balance as well. So if you have a low downforce setup, it's not going to help you get through this type of corners as well coming up. Because there's heavy braking zones there as well, and you can see Andreas is caught up on Cam there. So yeah, you can see Cam is going to pull. You can see Cam's going to pull away from the straights. Well, or maybe not. Cam's losing some tyre wear on those softs. Andreas says, "Thank you very much. That's P2 for me," and he's going to chase down Glock for the lead. So yeah, the softs are dying for Casper and Andreas, and the ones that are benefiting from it are the likes of Andreas and Leroy and Mata behind.
Yeah, Casper getting through on Leroy, but for how long, it's not going to be a good time for Casper now, because you can see he's being dropped by Tony, who's been P4, pulling away from Casper now. And of course, we're seeing Cam fall away from the front two on those softs. It's going to be interesting as Knighton and Enzo side by side for the final corner. Knighton down the inside, Enzo will have the inside for turn number 1. How is this going to go as they are wheel to wheel into turn 1, and Knighton swoops around the outside but picks himself up a 3-second time penalty for his efforts.
Yes, I believe that's the first 3-second time penalty of the day then. No one else. Oh, saying that, Finley's got one. So, any more time penalties? Doesn't look like it, thank goodness. So we're going to carry on at least as well with 2 more laps to go of this sprint race. But that can have huge repercussions of where you start in the main race coming up. So Glock leads from Andreas 6/10 of a second. But what can Andreas do to get the grid start he needs to in the main race? Don't forget the winner of this sprint race will be starting on pole position for the main race coming up straight after this one, where the 4 points are rewarded around Abu Dhabi, which is such an iconic circuit. A track where we saw Sebastian Vettel won his first ever world title, and we didn't think he would do it. He never led a world championship until the end of the last race, and that's the whole point. You you could be leading the championship for most of the season, but if you don't lead the championship towards the end of it, how on earth are you going to win it overall? So final lap we go. This is crunch time.
Yeah, absolutely. As Andreas closing up the clock in Sector 1. He needs a good run out of the hairpin by here so he can close up as much as possible to give him a shout in towards turn 9 with a double dose of DRS here. And you can see he's not going to use his battery. I don't think Glock's going to use this as well. He's going to try and play DRS chicken. And Andreas getting off the DRS as well quite early on because he wants that second bite of the cherry and he's going to get it.
Yeah, he's going to try and get it at least as we got a yellow flag as I believe that's Finley that had a bit of an off once again. But we got a battle for the lead coming up. Andreas around the outside in towards turn number 9. Can he make it stick? We got Glock trying to get the switchback and Glock had a spin. He hit the wall and he's out the race. And that is a huge capitalization for Andreas as he comes towards the final few corners. Cam has run out of hers, so he's not going to do anything about it, unfortunately. But Andreas has done a fantastic job. He's going to come across the line to win another race at VSL, his first sprint race as well. And he's going to be starting on pole position for the main one. That counts. Cam will be starting in second. Tony in third. Leroy will be starting fourth. Just about holds out Casper. You can see the soft drop-off in the end, but it was a good strategy. Mata will be starting sixth. Then we've got Enzo, Pete, Gareth, and then Yarham, and then Finley. But only from Andreas to Pete will be scoring points. Pete scored his first point of the season.
And that is something that you do love to see. You like to see drivers that are not regularly picking up points to pick up points in races like this. Where they have the opportunity to. So it's good to see him finally getting himself on the board.
Exactly. So we're about to wait for Finley to cross the timing board, which he did. And we're going to see who is being given the in-game driver of the day. And I think that's going to go to... Oh, it's going to go to Tony. Oh, yeah, he's starting at the back again. So, yes, Tony has a habit of doing that, but he does well on it. But he's going to be starting third this time. So, we'll get you results from the sprint then. So, Andreas from Cam, first row. Then we've got Tony and Leroy, second row. Casper and Mata, third row. Enzo and Knighton, hold on, 1, 2, 3, 4. Fourth row. Gareth and Johan, fifth row. Finley and Glock, sixth row. And Kieran and Ewan, seventh row. And there's no more 8th, 9th or 10th rows because we don't have that. So, there we go. So, we're about to get started with the main event. Now, turn 1, lap 1 can always be an issue. We saw that in the sprint. These guys just got to keep it clean because it's a longer race this time. The race is not over on lap 1, so they've got to be careful.
Yeah, I think when it comes to the sprint race, you do tend to see drivers risking things a lot more. But obviously, for the full 50% race, cooler heads prevail. That's my motto.
Okay then, so thank you so much for joining us so far tonight. So if you have liked the action tonight as I get my notes sorted, make sure you leave us a thumbs up on this video and hit subscribe. And also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at BSL_F1. And also you can follow us on Twitter as well at JessGames95 for myself. And for Mike, what is yours?
My Twitter or X or wherever.
Now ignore that. Ignore X. We don't like to call it X.
Is at Ivor Britton Mike.
There we go. So follow both of us. That will be amazing as well. Make sure you follow all the drivers as well, and you get to notice about what's happening this season. So whilst we wait for the action to start, quite a few other moments that happened in Abu Dhabi before. We saw Kimi Raikkonen returning to F1 back in 2012 and he got his first win since 2009 Belgian Grand Prix, where we saw a sizable accident between Nico Rosberg and Karl Takayan. And we know how Sebastian Vettel likes comeback drives. He started from the pit lane and finished third. we saw Lewis Hamilton won his second Formula 1 World Championship here as well, with Nico Rosberg. Didn't have a good race, unfortunately. He was very, very unlucky. And of course, 2021, we saw Max Verstappen take his first ever world title. And he's looking on course to be getting his third this season, which I think, there's no denying it, he's been great across the board. He's been outperforming the car anyway, so he's been doing a great job. So, yeah, so many moments that's happened before. There's been rain on the game, but not as much at VSL. I think we've hardly had any rain at VSL around Abu Dhabi, luckily, which is always good news anyway. But I'm just looking at the potential strategies and tyre life for these drivers, and I think the mediums can last a bit longer, but like we saw with the sprint, we saw the tyre drop off on the softs. It is a bit shorter than expected, so I don't think we're going to see the softs too much, but I think we could see, either hard to medium or medium to hard.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's going to be the preferred strategy, hard to medium or medium to hard. But for those that did do the sprint race on a set of softs, they have saved themselves an extra set of mediums for the actual race. So that's something to keep in the locker, in the back of your mind, that they do have an extra set of mediums available to them. And
yes,
honestly, I wanted to ask you a question with regards to Abu Dhabi. What was your favourite Abu Dhabi moment?
I don't know. I have to say 2010 when Vettel got his first world title, because it just, there was about 5 drivers at that point that could still win the title. 2022 and 2023 and 2021 will never get that. We still had 5 drivers in running for the title, and the one who won the title has never led the championship until that point. So yeah, that was my favourite Abu Dhabi moment, was Sebastian Vettel winning the 2010 world title, and has become one of the most legendary drivers of the modern Formula 1 era, which we're gonna miss. So yeah, that was my favourite Abu Dhabi moment. What's yours?
Mine was the final race where Alonso retired. I forget what season. I think it was 2019, if I remember.
McLaren, was it the McLaren? When was he in McLaren?
Yeah.
And then he decided he wanted to return back to racing again.
Yeah. But yeah, that was my favourite moment. Vettel, Hamilton and Alonso doing donuts on the main straight.
Oh,
3
yes.
world champions, and showing respect to one of the goats of Fernando Alonso.
Yeah, I think I have to say I remember when Lewis and Fernando Alonso absolutely hated each other, but you can tell from like interviews now that they do respect each other now and they like each other. So that's always a bonus that that's the case. And I don't think Lewis and Fernando Alonso would ever be teammates again, which is a shame. But yeah, and I want Alonso to win another race, but that's beside the point. But anyway, going back on track now. Here in Abu Dhabi, the main race is about to commence, and we got a mixture of strategies. Once again, we got Andreas, Cam and Tony on those hard tyres, and we got Leroy and Casper on those mediums, Mata and Enzo on those hards, Knighton and Gareth on Knighton on the softs, Gareth on the mediums, Johan is on the hards, Finley's on the hards, Glock's on the hards, Kieran is on the softs, and Ewan is on the hards. Now, I can't remember who was on the softs on the first iteration, but we do know that some people did not go on the softs in the last one because they were worried about the tyre drop-off. I think Knighton and Kieran might be planning for a 2-stop.
Potentially. I mean, I think Knighton was on the set of the mediums for the spring qualifying, and
yeah,
I think Kieran has 2 fresh sets of mediums available to him for this race. So I mean, 2-stop definitely possible for these guys as they form up on the grid. Now it's going to be interesting because obviously they will get the undercut and be on fresher tyres, and maybe that'll work out for them. But time will tell.
Yes, time will tell indeed. The green flag is about to be waved as the 5 red lights for the second time this evening are about to come on. 3, 4, 5 red lights. And we are underway. Let's see who has the best starts. Great start from one of the McLarens, actually. Great start from Andreas as we head towards the turn number 1. Let's see if it's a cleaner start. Much better, but a few people going off the track to stay cautious at the moment. Tony had an almighty start over Cam. Cam has been caught napping at the moment. All this speeds of spinners in the background. Kieran has gone for a bit of lawn mowing. Ewan has dropped behind as well. But everybody else seems to be A-OK at the moment. But look at how Tony is catching up to everybody. But Andreas doing what he needs to do up front. Pulling away on those hard tyres. Not the tyre I would go on if I want to start the front, but that's beside the point. As a bit of contact in the background there between the likes of Tony, Casper and Leroy as well, but that's demoted some drivers a few positions. But yeah, the hard runners leading the way at the moment.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Speed Nathan hasn't been able to make up much ground on the sauce early on, but he will have the grip for a couple of laps, so he needs to be making these moves. In terms of the strategy, it's given me the one-stop and the two-stop strategy. It's a soft, medium on the two-stop, and I don't think people are going to go for that.
No, I don't think people are going to be going for the two-stop, actually. So, yeah, we got quite a few people in the chat tonight, which is great to see. As David's saying, Enzo's going to win. James said, hello, James. How you doing, my friend? Johan and Glock to watch out for from the back. And David said someone needs to beat Andreas. So that's a few things going on in the chat as well. And Johan thinks he can go from P10 to P1. Well, he's 9th at the moment, so that's where he is currently as it stands. But what's going on in the chat, there's actually quite a lot of stuff going on in the chat. But we got some action going out on the track right now as Tony. Right, almost on the back of this as I think we've got one of the Alfa Romeos of Finley trying to get past Speed Gav, which he does, up into 11th. Enzo has been demolished by Johan and Pete in terms of moves, and he's down into 9th place. There's so much going on in the space for a few laps. Thank God it's a lot cleaner at the moment. Tony just set the fastest middle sector out of anyone so far, so he is lighting up the lap times.
Yeah, I was on board with Enzo. He ran too deep into the chicane at the end of the first DRS straight, and obviously you do that and you're going to end up losing places, and that was evident of it as Nathan and Johan come straight through past Enzo. But yeah, nice clean start from the drivers in this race, and yeah, the DRS train has formed now.
Yeah, the DRS train has formed, and I think it will stay for quite a bit of times as well. I think we've seen it many a times as well in the real-life Formula 1. The reason why they removed the chicanes, because with the chicanes, you can't overtake. And this is proving that you can overtake at the moment, as it's definitely better for league racing. As Glock as under pressure from Enzo, as Enzo tries to fight back here. Some brave moves from the pair of them as DRS is activated. Not quite sure who has them, but they're both bagging wheels as they head towards turn number 6 and 7. Enzo tries to cut back from the right-hand side. Glock to the left. Not much space given at all between Enzo and Glock. I think Glock has to be forced to the left. Finley goes through. This is a great cutback drive for him. And Glock getting his wiggle on, and he's dropped a few places because of it. But Finley trying to get past Enzo around the right-hand side. Through 9. Nope, he's not going to do that, unfortunately. So Finley stays in. Well, he keeps his 10th position, but he wants 9th so badly at the moment. But this midfield battle, I have to say, is pretty incredible. The only person not in a battle is Kieran, unfortunately. But let's hope he can recover from those spins a little bit later on.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Kieran. Currently, he's running on his own at the moment. But this is where you just have to keep your head, keep pushing on, because you never know if an SC will come out to save you later in the race. So keep going, Kieran, and keep pushing on.
Yep, safety cars can change massively, and I need to actually have a look online as well, where how much safety cars it brings out in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, because it's quite a lot. And this was a trap, by the way, that was designed by Yaham, trying to get past Mata. That is a very brave move. Can he make it stick, does Yaham? And by the way, the camera down that corner is absolutely awful. Get that changed, please. But anyway, Yaham is up in a 7th position. But yes, Herman Tilk designed this circuit, which originally featured 21 turns, and obviously the Yas Hotel is a great feature as well. And this track is going to be held many Abu Dhabi races until 2030, so we still got more Abu Dhabi races to come until then, luckily, which is always a good thing. But I kind of wish Abu Dhabi wasn't the final race on the calendar, but money, that's probably why it's still there. Oh, that's Leroy. Leroy been under pressure from Speed Knighton. Look at the pace that Speed Knighton is bringing to the table. I know he's on the soft compound tyres, but he's proving why he should be on the soft tyres, because he's got to try and get past the lower cars, and already he's up to 5th. He scored his first point of the season in the sprint, and he wants to score more.
And Yaham's going to look to try and follow him through down the inside into turn 5. Yaham down the inside of Leroy, and he's going to get that position done. Mata on the back of Leroy as well. So Leroy under big pressure here, but he's going to try and tuck back into the slipstream of Yaham as Yaham's going to try and make the move. Free wide.
A lot of weaving in the background. I think one person's running out of ER breath as well, as Yaham trying to get past one driver. Oh, look at this. Through comes Mata. Could he take advantage of this? Because there was a lot of squiggles at the moment, as it could be 4 wide. Please don't make it 4 wide. But Mata, where on earth did that come from? He took that one like a goat and said, you know what, if you guys keep squabbling, I will take advantage of that. And he did. He's up into 5th, and that was brilliant. Mata has been the really consistent driver this season by picking up the pieces where everyone else has fallen, and this could help him with this championship. He is a 3-time, 4-time VSL champion for a reason. And oh god, Speed Knighton, well, he scored his first points in the sprint race. He's not going to score anymore now, and yes, we've got a safety car.
Yeah, one thing I was going to say about Mata as well is, of course, after last week, remember the incident that he had at the end of the race with Glock, I believe it was, that dropped Mata from potentially a race-winning position all the way down to not scoring any points in that race. Mata's got a point to prove coming here tonight.
I think this is redemption for Mata then after that, because he even said to me last week, I should have won that race. I should have won that race, but I made a mistake, he said. But he's in 5th, and he wants to rewrite the rule book and re-preach a lot of what he pretty much sold last week. I'm gutted he didn't get the race win last week, because he had the pace to do it. But we got our first safety car of the evening, ladies and gentlemen, which, to be honest, is not that surprising if you think about it. But Kieran, I'm not surprised he come in. He's going for a 2-stop strategy, and he will come in and do one more stop in just a little bit later on. But for the ones on the hards, at least, it's too early to come in. But if you're on the mediums, would you come in now?
I probably would, to be honest. It depends on if you think there's going to be another safety car. Andreas comes in, though, and from a set of the hards, that's a big call from Andreas.
Yeah, so he must be doing a 2-stop as well. And we all know that without a safety car, how the undercut could be so powerful. Or maybe he just wants to be quicker and try and get past a lot of cars. If he could get past a lot of cars, then that could be a good strategy call for Leroy. I've seen people in many races have a lap 1 safety car, pit onto a set of mediums, and then get past a lot of cars, and they're pretty much on similar strategies, but they're on the faster tyre. And then they could go on another set of mediums later on. So I could see why Andreas is doing it. He thinks he can get past a lot of cars very quickly. for his sake, let's hope that this strategy pays off, because otherwise there could be serious repercussions for him. I can see why Leroy has gone for the hards. He can get to the end from there, I think, most likely. Gareth has gone for the hards as well, so I can see why that as well. Glock probably doing the same strategy as Andreas. Everybody else, I don't blame them for staying out, to be honest. They want to try and stay on the one stop as long as they possibly can. I know Cam and Tony want to stretch out as long as they can up front, and Cam's doing a superb job. Definitely what he needs after a miserable race last time out. And hopefully the safety car should be in within the next few laps as everyone tries to catch up. Don't forget, in virtual sim leagues, top 12 score points in this league. First place gets 25 points. Second place gets 18. No, second place gets 20 points. Third place gets 18 points. And you get a bonus 2 points if you get the fastest lap within the top 12. Which Andreas got last week, so he's got the maximum points last week, which I don't think he got the Grand Slam, because I don't think he got pole position last week, but it would have been nice if he would have had the Grand Slam. Oh, safety car is in then this lap. Let's see what Cam can do heading towards the final corner of Abu Dhabi as the sun begins to set here on what's like a gorgeous circuit. And Cam goes away quite quickly, and he pulls away nicely here from Tony. And we'll see if anyone else has got the perfect restart. Everyone, I think, seems to be relatively stable heading towards turn 2 and 3. But I think one person that's trying to gain a lot of positions off this restart is Andreas. And he's going to pick them off one by one, it seems. Heading towards turn number 5. Round the right-hand side he goes. Can he make it stick? I think he's going to try to. Brilliant stuff from Andreas. That's one car. He's got to get past 7 more.
Yeah, and in behind as well, Glock getting through on Leroy as well. So Glock trying to follow through as Kieran gets through on Gareth in the back, as well as it looks like side-by-side action between Ewan and Andreas. But Andreas holds that position. He's under pressure now from Glock, who's going to go around the outside possibly.
Yes, Glock trying to go the long way round then, which he does before the DRS zone. And that is a place where you can overtake. There's no DRS zones there as well. And don't forget, these track temperatures start to get cooler as well as the night draws in Yas Marina. So they've got to warm them up throughout the lap. So otherwise it could be in a spot of trouble. Oh, Finley's in trouble. Finley's in trouble once again in that Alfa Romeo. Loads of things have gone wrong for him so far. But looking at his car, no severe damage to his front wing currently. So it looks like he's absolutely fine currently. But Cam still leads. Tony second, Casper third, Mata fourth. Yarham in 5th position after starting in 10th position. But look at Kieran. He's looking like he's going to gain another position. We'll keep an eye on Andreas in just a moment. But I think Cam looks like he's going to... Kieran is going to go for the lunge on Ewan, and I think Andreas has got past Enzo in the process as well. So Andreas is up to 6th, Kieran's up to 9th, but for how much longer? Because Ewan, I think... Has he got the DRS?
Yarham as well.
Yarham has been passed by Andreas. I think I'm starting to think that him pitting onto the extra set of mediums is definitely the right call. He's proved us wrong.
Yeah, it's fantastic from Andreas. He's absolutely flying right now, getting through on Enzo and Yarham in the space of 2 corners. Glock's getting through as well. He's just overtaken Enzo for P7, and he's closing in rapidly on Yarham as Andreas and Mata side by side up ahead.
And Glock's got past Yarham, so Glock up to 6th. There's just so much action going on. This is much more what we want to see at VSL. Side-by-side action by keeping it as clean as they possibly can with some wheel-to-wheel racing. And by the way, I love this helicopter shot. Absolutely incredible. Hopefully we can have more of those, please. One thing I would like to see is a choice of spectator cameras, please, as well. We can actually choose what spectator cameras we have. We can still have the auto, but for ones like me who want to change cameras, please have the option to change cameras so we can not have the weird ones all the time. But anyway, here comes Glock. Actually, no, let's watch Andreas and Casper so far. Casper had a bit of a moment there as well as both Andreas Glock almost got past Casper there for the time being, but I think, oh, this is a battle for the lead. This is a battle for the lead. Andreas gets past Cam, and looks like Casper is going to get past Cam as well. Andreas had a bit of a tank slapper there, so looks like Cam is going to fight back with Andreas, which he does. Glock's in it as well. This is all battling here as well for the win. A 5-car battle for this race victory, and we're on lap 10 of 29. Absolutely sensational. Look at this, Andreas trying to go through the left-hand side of turn 10, and he does it! Absolutely incredible, and Tony leads!
Going a big snap there from Cam in the background, and that's going to leave him vulnerable to Glock now, who's trying to get through, but he can't get through just yet. Matter around the outside of Casper, perhaps? No, not for the time being. It's absolute pendulum here on lap 10.
I did say Abu Dhabi brings classic races, and it definitely is showing that at the moment, as Johan has picked himself a 3-second time penalty, and Johan comes in and two at the pit lane. So I wonder what tyre he's going to come on to. I think he's picked up a bit of damage, so we'll keep an eye on that. But Andreas's tyres is absolutely lovely life. Don't forget Tony started on the hard. He still has to pit again. Andreas technically still has to pit again, but he could go on to another 7 mediums because he started on the hard tyres. This is proving to be a really good strategy for him. He launches up the right-hand side of Tony, but is this the wrong call for him? Because Andreas is not going to have the DRS going in towards turn 7 and 8. So Tony then could take advantage. No, he doesn't. Andreas has the better straight line speed and tyre wear. Glock gets past Cam as well. So we got a Ferrari first place and a Mercedes 2-3. This is good for Mercedes in the constructors. Will there be team orders for Mercedes?
Yep.
He looks like it. Glock gets past Tony, no problem at all.
Yeah, and let's go. One thing I wanted to mention, obviously, Andreas, I mean, while we think he's going to do medium, let's not forget he did use a set of the mediums in the sprint race.
Ah!
So it could be a medium soft. He might try and extend this as long as possible to go into softs at the end.
Could be as well. There is a danger the softs may not last very long, but I will keep an eye on these strategies and see what these drivers could potentially do in potentially the safety car window that these drivers could be facing. I'm almost guaranteed I think there's going to be one more safety car, and there's people going to complain at me. And there's Tony on Cam. Tony up to 3rd place. As a Cam almost pressurised him now a little bit, and he's going to do so again through this back straight. He backs out. Casper's not going to though. If I were him, try and get past one car because you're going to have the DRS anyway. But he's deciding to back off for the time being. I think Cam's done the right thing to back off, but does he have enough straight line speed to do so? Tony's run out of VRS. This is huge for Cam. Cam's got plenty of VRS. Through past him in turn 9. Cam's back up to 3rd. They keep switching positions here in Abu Dhabi. And Casper couldn't take advantage of that, unfortunately, but Cam did.
Yeah, and another guy that, let's call it, has done well since the safety car, Kieran, up into P6 now.
Yes, where has he come from as well? So maybe the instant he had in lap 1 and that safety car has probably helped him a little bit there. So I think he's going to be, very relieved that the safety car did get called off, and he's showing some good pace because of it. I think since the safety car restart, every battle has been mostly very clean. So well done to everybody as well. It's been superb to watch. There's some moments where I like don't make it 4 wide, but here comes Kieran once again on Casper to the right-hand side. They used to be teammates, remember, but they're no longer teammates anymore. Will they regret this after tonight? We'll have to wait and see. Past turn 5, Age Wars turn 6. Oh, I would back out this, Kieran, if I were you. You're going to get no DRS. Actually, he will have the DRS anyway, so he should be fine. As, yeah, he backs off a little bit. Very, very sensible to do for Kieran, because otherwise there could be an absolute train wreck. But you can see in the background, Andreas and Glock really starting to pull away. Is Glock going to get the lead from Andreas? No, he does not. So let's jump back on Casper and Kieran. Casper stays ahead.
Yeah, Casper stays ahead, and he's in a good position, Casper, because he's right behind this train for P3 with Cam. Low on ERS. Tony's not too much better, so Casper does have the ERS advantage on him, but not by a huge amount. He's in a good position if he decides to come into the pits in the next lap or so, but he's run wide, and that's going to put him under pressure now from Kieran.
Yeah, he has. He's lost a bit of time there, and I think Kieran's going to get him in towards turn number 1, which is not the easiest turn to overtake on this game. And there we go. Kieran is up into 5th spot, and he's going to chase down Tony for 4th place. So the ones on those fresh and mediums, it's paid dividends for them in the end. But who has got an extra 7 mediums for their final stop, and who hasn't, as Enzo gets past Gareth for 9th place. And the ones on these hards starting to struggle a little bit, but they will come to its own very, very shortly. Glock is on another attack, it looks like. And then it's Gareth as well that's got past Enzo. Enzo on the cutback. Oh, they make a bit of contact. No. Gareth's had a bit of a moment because of it. And oh, there's Leroy. As Leroy gets past, I think, Mata and Casper. Leroy's up to 6th, and he's on fresh hards as well. So don't forget those hards could get to the end of this Grand Prix. And if we get no safety car, could Leroy be a threat for the win this race, Mike?
Yeah, absolutely. Leroy going to the end of the race from this point. Definitely going to be a race-winning contender as long as he can keep it clean and nothing happens that can change the race in terms of another safety car. Now, Tony into the pits, and I think that's wise. Get out this train, get a bit of fresh air, and push in some clear open space. Honestly, I'm surprised Casper stayed out because he is really struggling on those mediums, and he definitely should have come into the pits, in my opinion.
I think he should have as well. He could have struggled otherwise as well, but Tony is going to be on fresh mediums now. If there's another safety car, that would be perfect for him because he could climb his way through the field. As we're halfway in to this race, Andreas leading after doing a stop. Glot in 2nd, Cam in 3rd, Kieran in 4th. Looks like Mata and Casper are having a really nice fight in the background as Mata gets past Casper really nicely indeed. So I wonder if Casper's mediums are starting to die compared to Mata's hards, which is why Mata got past him currently as well. And Mata's chasing down Leroy. He's got the better straight line speed, but has he got the better corner entry? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see.
That we will. And yeah, Casper's tyres look to have fallen off a cliff here. He cannot battle with these guys anymore. Definitely needs to come into the pits, but the thing is, we should be seeing Cam and Mata coming in as well shortly, and I think that is Cam coming into the pits right now.
Yes, perfect timing actually from yourself, Mike, and they're probably reading your minds there. So Cam is going to go onto a set of mediums then, as predicted, till the end of the race. It can easily make 15 laps because there's other drivers that proved that. I thought he was going on softs then, but there was a bit of red wheel rims or lights or whatever. So Cam almost caught me off guard there, but he's all good. He's all good. And Billy sets the fastest lap after him just pitting as well. So, we got a battle for the lead once again. Yellow flag. We will cut to that in a minute. I think that was one of the Alpines. That could be Gareth, yeah. Or actually, it might be one of the Williams, actually. But we will keep an eye on that. But Glock launching an attack once more. No, he's lacking straight line speed. You can see he's got the cornering speed, but he's lacking straight line speed.
One thing I wanted to point out now with the undercut. Look at the gap Tony's got on Cam now.
Wow. 2.4 seconds. I have to say, I commentated on Silverstone on Monday, and I'm sure you noticed this when you commentated on it. The undercut on this game is too OP. Too OP.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I've also seen the overcut work as well. So it's like,
what tracks?
It's one of them. I think I saw it at the. I think I have seen it at Silverstone as well. To be fair, the overcut working.
It does depend on pace though. At the end of the day, and what tyres people go on. Because if they if they have the pace and they can stretch their tyres like a few laps, then fair enough. But if they have an equal amount of pace, then maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, undercut I found is a bit too OP, because usually when I start to struggle on tyres and someone catches up behind me, I'm like, I need to pit, because otherwise if I stay out for a bit longer, they're going to undercut me and I'm going to lose a lot of time. So, but meanwhile, Tony, through the end of the first sector, well, into turn 5, I mean, gets past Gareth, up on his fresher tyres, up into 8th spot. How is Leroy looking on Kieran? I think Leroy's looking very racy right now. You can start to see Kieran's tyres starting to struggle a little bit. But what about Glock on Andreas? Once again, he is struggling. Bearing in mind the top 3 have to pit again. Casper has to pit again. Ewan has to pit. Everyone else, maybe Arhan, maybe pit again, but everybody else can potentially get to the end on those tyres that they're currently on. So that could change things quite rapidly, as we are on lap 18 of 29. We're going to keep an eye on this leading battle, because I think Glock is just being a bit more patient this week. He wants another race win to add to his total that he's got. He's got 1 so far. He wants to have another one.
Yeah, as big boy Ewan comes into the pits, 17 laps on those hard tyres, and honestly, if I'm Andreas and I'm Glock right now, I am looking at Casper, because Casper hasn't pitted yet from that first set of mediums. He's taken them 18 laps, so
wow, softs.
Potentially, if he goes to the softs, and that might give Glock and Andreas enough confidence to think that they can get those mediums to the end, as Leroy gets through on Kieran with DRS down into the chicane, but Kieran will have DRS to come back at them, and that's the risk that happens here, as Leroy's going to be absolutely swamped by Kieran.
Yes, I have to say, these two pretty even on pace currently on this game. Leroy, I think, improving a lot better race after race, because he, to be fair, he did admit he is struggling with the new game, but I don't think he is now. I think he's adapting it to it very nicely, and I can't wait to see how he evolves as the game cycle progresses. I think he's going to evolve to a quicker and quicker driver, which is what we like to see. So him being in the tier 1 instead of tier 2 this season is definitely helping him go up against some of the quicker drivers and learning from them, learning from their driving style. And sometimes I like driving against quicker drivers, because even though they're quicker than me, I can look at their racing lines when they lap me, which usually tends to happen. But yeah, so Leroy doing a great job. But the question is, when the top 3 potentially pit again, will they be able to catch up to Leroy? I think they might, but again we'll have to wait and see on that one. Casper though, how on earth is he keeping up with Leroy and Kieran on 18 lap old mediums? Imagine what he's going to be like on softs later on. Bring it on.
Yeah, and this is the thing that I'm I think Andreas and Glock are looking at, because obviously their tyres are 6 laps fresher. So if you add the 6 laps on right now, they get to lap 25. If Casper can take them an extra 3, maybe 4 laps, Andreas and Glock could get to the end on the set of mediums.
Yeah. I think they potentially can. If Casper could do it, the top 3 can. Oh, this is a great race. This is a great race of strategy. I love it. Some people may think, oh, it's boring. We're watching cars go around in circles. Glock's in. So Glock's like, no, I'm not following your rules or your theories, which is fair enough. And Glock's going to be brave. Glock's going to go on softs. But to be fair, people did last 10 laps on softs in the sprint race, but we did see it die around 7 laps in. But if Glock can make it work, I think this could be quite good. But where's it going to come out? P9. And bearing in mind, there's some drivers that, well, pretty much Matt, Cam, Tony, Yarham, they didn't have to pit again. But I think Glock, with the soft rubber being about 4 tenths, 5 tenths quicker than anybody else, there's certain drivers I feel that he can get past easy. Leroy past Kieran. Oh, there's just so much battling going on. Oh, Leroy at the moment. And he's been caught by Casper as well. Casper's up to third. Casper, I have to say, one of my drives of the day so far.
Yeah, this has been fantastic tyre management from Casper so far. One thing I was going to bring up as well is that, obviously, if Andreas and Kieran can get to the end, that surely has to bring Leroy in contention, because those tyres are going to be gone, and Andreas is going to start to fall back to the likes of Leroy once he gets through these two ahead of him. And in fact, Andreas is in.
Andreas is in, so he's going to go on softs. I think he's trying to cover the undercut from Glock, it looks like, which, to be fair...
Still.
So, so Andreas, who's done a two-stop, is come in. Casper's staying out, and he's chasing down Kieran for the lead of this race. I could tell that Casper has been practicing for this. I could tell. If you're managing your tyres that well, I could tell if you've been practicing or not. And he has.
And I just want to point out as well, the undercut, obviously Glock just got through on Mata, but Andreas 2.9 seconds behind Mata. So that's how big the undercut is. As Glock
way back. Oh my God, there's two Williams versus Mercedes versus the Red Bull. When have we seen that before? Through turn 6 and 7. Mata could get past 1 or 2 if he's lucky. Oh, fair play to Mata there for not making too much contact there through the exit of set. Oh, Kieran's past Leroy. Kieran's past. Casper's in the lead so far. So he's past Kieran. We missed that. There's just so much going on, Mike.
Yeah, the midfield battle right now is absolutely crazy. All these drivers on different alternating strategies. Now you got Glock and Andreas on the set of softs. They're going to be rapid. You got Johan sticking out. Yeah, you got.
Enzo, it could be a safety car. Safety car. Casper's in.
My God.
Kieran's in. Leroy's in. Surely, if you're not on softs, get on softs. I'm calling Glock for the win for this one. This is perfect for him.
I can't believe what we are witnessing here.
Oh my God.
He wants to jump Casper in the pits.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, he has. And Andreas is back in second. Literally everybody is back in this. They're on the lead lap. I literally think anybody could win this race. Anybody could win this race. I can't call it. Make sure you stay tuned in, folks, because we could be on for the race of the season here. Let us know your predictions in chat. Who are you going to think is going to win this race? I don't know who's going to win this race. It could be any one of them, but I think it's going to be Glock, personally.
I mean, it all depends now, because Andreas is the guy in behind him. Andreas can use DRS to get back through. And then you got Kieran in the mix, you got Casper in the mix, Leroy, Tony, Mata, Cam. It's literally, it's going to be who's going to make the least amount of mistakes now.
And who gets less penalties. I think the ones that are out of the race victory is the ones with penalties, Tony, Yarham and Finlay. Unless they could get into the lead and pull the 3-second gap, which I think with the amount of tyre life that they have, is literally impossible. Literally impossible. And by the way, whilst all that's whilst all that is going on, Tier 2 must have had a lot of things going on because they're only on lap 8 of 29. I'm just finding out what's going on with their race and they're only on lap 8. So that means after this race, we get to witness some more racing, but in Tier 2. We never get to watch Tier 2 back because usually we finish after them. So that's always a bonus, but I literally don't know what happened then. There's probably lobby restarts, but surely someone can tell us what happened there. But yeah, safety car on lap 23 or 29. We'll run through your order, actually. So we've got Glock from Andreas, from Kieran, from Casper, from Leroy, from Tony, from Mata, from Cam, from Yarham, from Finlay, from Gav, from Ewan. And they will score points if they finish this race. Biggest gainer, Kieran and Glock up 10 and 11th respectively. Wow.
I just want to point out, you know, a prediction that was said in the chat by one of the drivers in the session of Yaham saying 10th to 1st.
Oh, he's 9th at the moment. Maybe. He has done one in Abu Dhabi in the past. I'm trying to remember where he finished before. It could happen. The thing is, I can't rule out anybody. So if someone says I'm going to win, I'm not going to rule that out. Safety car's going to be in for another lap. And I think it's going to be in next lap, it looks like. So that means we're going to get DRS on lap. Oh, no.
In this lap.
It's in this lap. Okay. So we're going to get DRS lap 26 then. 3 laps of DRS. Right. Fasten your seatbelts, everybody. Welcome to the final part of VSL F1 Season 11, round number 3 in Abu Dhabi. And for those of you that missed what was going on, where have you been? Literally, where have you been? This has been a really great race so far. But let's hope they can keep it clean for the final few laps. I pray you, but Glock is pulling away. Glock is pulling away. He nailed that restart to perfection. Andreas not had the best restart at all right now as they all make their way towards turn number 1 for lap 24 out of 29 as I try to get the tyres back and see what happens. They're all on soft compounded tyres. Glock's already pulling away by a second. He's loving life at the moment, and one advantage for most drivers, they're all going to be on the same tyre life, so it's really going to be about tyre management, and one person that's got tyre management to a T is Casper. He was able to pit under the safety car restart and work wonders. Here comes Kieran on Andreas to our left-hand side and to his right. No, he can't get past. Tony gets past Leroy up to 5th. Matter, oh, brave, really brave for Matter there. Awesome stuff.
Yeah, and looks like Leroy's going to lose another spot to Cam here as well as he's going to try and go around the outside, but Leroy's going to try and fight him back. Use a little bit of ERS, stick it down the inside, and they're going to be wheel to wheel. A little bit of contact. Oh, no!
No! And I think that is the end of Leroy's race, unfortunately, unless we get another safety car. But for everybody else, it's game on to get this race victory. But Andreas has caught up a little bit. So I wonder if he was saving up his tyres towards the end of the race and maybe Glock was just pushing a little bit more. We don't know at this point. But it's a long train now, which is going to go on and on and on now.
Yeah, and honestly, that safety car restart, Glock caught Andreas absolutely napping on that restart. And Andreas now, with the pace that he's trying to come back through and trying to get back onto the back of that Mercedes, it is going to be interesting to see if he's going to be able to stick with Glock. Obviously, Glock has a bit more ERS to play with. Kieran in the mix as well. Casper in the mix, but Tony has been looking rapid as well. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him play some sort of role in this.
Yes, and don't forget, Tony came from, like, technically he's starting in the back in the sprint anyway. So he's going to keep doing what he's doing in the last few races and go and win from the back maybe. But it is possible. However, he does have that 3-second time penalty. But he could do something to help his teammate potentially as well. And bearing in mind, next lap, DRS is activated. So that could play a massive factor as well. So it does depend on setup here as well. Get your predictions in chat. Who do you think is going to win this race? Make sure you leave this video a like and hit that subscribe button if you've been enjoying the race. We're almost on, by the way, 200 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed, please do subscribe because we've got more action every single week. And we don't know who's going to win. Kieran is probably trying to catch these two and catch the napping at some point. But we do know those two drivers are very, very quick. One mistake from any of the drivers could bring it into play for everybody else.
This is going to be crucial now. DRS activated. Glock could end up losing multiple positions. Here goes Andreas. He's going to slide straight through. And here comes Kieran 3 wide.
Kieran could get 2 of them in one corner. Yes, he does. Kieran leads the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix by passing 2 27.
Look at Casper. Casper's trying to get a move done as well in the background of Glock and Andreas, but they're still wheel to wheel, and they're going to hold it side by side together.
Here comes Andreas round the outside. Holding his line. There we go. Andreas up to second. Glock is
Brilliant
just dropping
stuff.
like flies. And we've got Tony and Cam and Mata in this as well. And I'm just trying to see, are any drivers on the cusp of getting a penalty? Because that could change things.
I think we should leave it as a surprise.
I think so too. I think so too, because then we could be shocked to see if someone gets a penalty. That 27 then of 29. I kind of wanted this race to go on for a bit longer actually, because I'm absolutely enjoying this. Last week was a bit This week has been a lot better, and they've been showing us that they can race. Casper has been saving his tyres, and for good measure, he's now going to be pushing. He's going to try and get past Glock then. Through the back straight, the first DRS zone of the circuit. He hasn't got much ERS to play with, but he's got, I think, more than maybe Glock, but it's hard to see on the herd. As here comes Cam on Tony. No luck from Cam right now. The midfield battle, I have to say, is pretty incredible. It's hard to decide which drivers to keep your eyes on because they're all going for it at the moment. And any wrong move could ruin it for these guys through the final part of the race. Andreas almost got Kieran in that final sector through into the hotel section, but he didn't.
I think Andreas is playing the smart play right now. He knows that he's the lead guy right behind Kieran in terms of having DRS, so I think he's going to time this on the final lap, I think.
I think that's what a lot of people are going to be doing, Mike, timing it to the final lap. Because if they push throughout the whole of this stint, they're going to struggle. And maybe that's what some people are alluding to currently, as Jarham's up into 8th spot. Oh, I just don't know who's going to do well. Look at Casper, he's caught right on the back of Glock. Surely this could be the move for him, but maybe he could try and get the move done straight after the detection point. No, he's going to stay behind. We got pretty much 1.5 laps to go to decide our winner for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We saw Cam win the sprint. We're not going to see anyone taking maximum points. We know that. Because Cam is all the way down in 6th place. But here comes Mata. Oh, contact! Contact in at the background. Cam keeps position from Mata. But let's watch Casper. He's going to launch it. Launch goes Casper. And there he does it. Oh, maybe not. Glock's going to try and get him back. Round the outside through 9. Heading towards turn 10. It's going to be very brave. Casper to the inside. Oh,
brilliant from Casper around the outside.
That was amazing from Casper up into 3rd place. And they're all winning the DRS train. So, it's anyone's game. We're about to start the final lap of this race. Gav gets a time penalty. I'm about to lose my voice, but I don't care at this point. I hope I don't lose my voice for tomorrow, because I'm interviewing people tomorrow at work. But, Kieran could be on course to be winning his first race in like forever. Andreas could be on course to win his 2nd win of the season. Casper could be on for his first win in like forever. I don't know who's going to win this one. Let's see then. Final lap of this race. Going through this back straight. Who has the pace to win this one? It's going down to the wire here. Here comes Andreas there to launch the attack. Casper's doing the smart thing here. He is playing the backseat role in this. Andreas gets past Kieran and takes the lead. Glock's in this as well. He's probably playing an even smarter move than anyone. Cam gets past Tony. He's going to go side by side, but the most important thing is who's going to get the battle for the lead. Kieran to the inside. Andreas trying to go around the outside then. Oh, no, it's the other way around, but scrap that. Kieran trying to go. Oh, they made contact. Tony's out the race. Tony's out the race. I don't know what's happened there. I don't care. As they're watching the battle for the lead. Andreas holding his line. Looks like Andreas is going to be winning this one unless we get a photo finish. Kieran is running out of birds, so it looks like Andreas could be on course to win the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix in fantastic fashion. And Kieran has spun. Kieran has bottled it on the last lap. Final corner. Casper's up to second, Glock third, Cam fourth, Matter fifth, Ewan sixth, Finley seventh, Johan eighth. And we got Gav and Kieran in 10th. Leroy will get the final finishing point as long as he finishes. And Tony, I literally don't know what happened there. There was so much going on, I couldn't see what happened with him.
And Kieran crosses the line, immediately leaves the session. I think he knows.
Oh, that's gutting for him. Absolutely gutting. But he is a bottle job. Bless him. What a race. A much better race than last week. Last week I was like, guys, keep it clean. But this week, they've been pulling moves all over the show. Can we have Abby every race calendar?
I am all for it as long as the racing remains like that.
Yeah, as long as the race remains like that, it was good. I was a bit wide at the sprint after the turn 1 incident. We probably will see some reports, to be fair, from some drivers, but Andreas extended his lead in the championship by quite some way. And by the way, just to point things out here, I'm looking at the championship standings before tonight. The top 3 in the championship are currently the top 3 on the podium, in that order.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, I need to look at not the weekend results. Hold on, give me a second. There we go. By the way, Glock from 12th to 3rd. That is pretty incredible. So I think one of my jobs today. Casper, one of my jobs today for his tyre management skills. Let's go through your results. Andreas wins from Casper, Glock, Cam, Matter, Ewan, Finley, Johan, Gareth, Kieran, Leroy. I'm not sure if Tony gets the point, because I need to double check if the 90% rules were applied here. But if it is, you'll get the 2 extra points fastest lap. Then your retirement are Enzo and Pete. There was only 2 or 3 retirements after what has been a great race. I think it's going to take me a while to recover that. Luckily, I don't have commentary until Monday-ish. So I've got a while to recover from this. But Mike, who has been your driver of the day?
Honestly, it's hard to look past the tyre management from Casper in that race. It was absolutely fantastic. But also, shout out to Glock and I coming up from 12th to take a podium. For me, I'll give it to Casper for the tyre management.
To be fair, I have to agree with you. I think Casper gets my drive of the day, but Andreas gets an honourable mention for winning as well. So, thank you guys so much for watching this week's race and the 3rd round of the overall championship, the 3rd round of the Middle Eastern and Asia Pacific Trophy. And at the moment, it looks like it could go Andreas' way, and he could win it at this time next time out in Qatar, which is I swear to God, literally, I've got 3 races in a row where I've got Qatar. Yep. I've got it one hub where I'm racing in it, PSG when I'm commentating on it, and VSL when I'm commentating on it. At least I'm...
Yep, I noticed that as well.
Yeah, at least I'm not going to be stretched for notes. I'll be fine with that. So at least I'll know what to do because I've raced in it multiple times. But yeah, Qatar, one of the new tracks on the calendar. Not many drivers have raced on it. I think it's going to be wide open, just like we saw tonight.
Yep, definitely. And Qatar is going to be a track that's going to apply a different dynamic to what we've seen so far this season. A lot of medium speed and high speed corners. It's going to be all about the corner exit for a lot of them if you want to be getting moves done. And of course, that long run down in towards turn 1 is going to be epic.
Yeah, I have to say, I've driven Qatar many a times on this game, and I absolutely love it. So I'm sure I'm going to absolutely love commentating on it. The last time I commentated on it was a social race in another league, and that was always fun. So, but yes, thank you so much for watching this race. And Tier 2 is still going on. It usually never goes on now, but it did start a bit late. So if I can... If it will let me, I don't think it will let me because it's not a partner channel. Will it let me redirect? No, it won't let me redirect. Okay. So I was going to redirect you to the stream, but it won't let me because it's not a partner channel. But you can watch that on now. Rando's your commentator. But for us, for myself and Mike, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you follow us on Twitter and Instagram at VSL_F1. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Like this video. Have a good evening. We're going to rest our voices now until next week. Take care, stay safe, and we will see you next week for the Qatar Grand Prix. Bye-bye.